your vagina. You're not ready to make those fucking decisions yet.
Very true, very true. And what's important as well is having a great support circle around you.
Yeah.
Y-
And honestly, it's funny because I have a 17-year-old goddaughter. I was there when she was born, and been in her life forever. I probably won't have kids. She's probably the only daughter I'll ever have, you know?
mhm.
And I wanted to bring her on the show so she could kind of talk about her problems that she deals with as a 17-year-old. Like, and she's dealing with a lot of issues. Like her first boyfriend she had this past year
Yeah.
broke up with her because she didn't want to have sex with him. She's like, I'm not ready to have sex. I'm just not there. She's like, I've, tried a few things, but I
Yeah.
wasn't there. And to be 17 years old in 2020 and still be a
Exactly.
virgin,
That's good.
it's like not heard of. So I'm thinking that I'm like, she's had to have lost it already. I lost mine like when I was turning 16. So she's like, no, I'm not there. But I want to be able to have her and like a couple of her little girlfriends
Yeah.
who I know aren't, like, really talk about the pressures of like sex and 2020 and social media.
Yeah.
And I want to have, because parents think they fucking know.
I know.
It's not the same world that we grew up in.
It really isn't. And I think that would be powerful if you can actually pull that off, because that
Yeah.
conversation needs to be had. And I commend that your goddaughter for holding out for that period of time, because
Yeah.
as we're highlighting, that is nothing. I mean, when I was growing up, kissing someone and maybe, as y'all say, was it first base and a bit of fondling, that
Get
was
a
like,
little finger fucking going on.
no, I'm not even talking about that. That's
Oh,
second
just grabbing
base. A little bit, yeah, that's it. That's it. That was like, that's what you did, maybe when
and it made you so excited. You're like,
ex
ooh.
exactly. It's like, okay,
And
I've
I was
done
like, she
this.
only let me grab her boob. Like, get
Yeah.
out of here, bitch.
No, but
And they'll
now,
literally call you that. They'll call you, what the fuck is that, bitch? You're not gonna suck my dick? Like, what? You're 15.
on the first interaction as well, it's like they've just met. Your name's Claire, my name's Steve.
They don't even know their name half the time.
Well, and that's another point. They're having,
I think it was, who was it? J. Cole. Was it J. Cole? Maybe someone made a song about, like, they said something about like, we fucked and I don't even know your last name, or something like, how backwards is it that we fucked and I can't even know your last name, or something like that. It's like,
mhm.
and it's so funny. Like, if you ask someone their name, like, hey, what's your name, or what's your last name? They're like, why do you need to know that? You're like, well, maybe just because I just busted all over your face. I don't know. Maybe I could know your last name.
Yeah,
Think about
that is,
just inside your rib cage. Like, maybe I
yes.
should know your last name. I don't know.
Apparently, that is too private of information. But as you say, we can know every orifice and hole and excrete, all kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
no hole left unsealed. And you know what? And it's funny because I am an adult industry worker. I'm definitely for doing whatever you do. I just feel like it's an adult decision. Like,
Mhm.
it shouldn't be forced on our kids, and let them be. It's so hard to be kids, and they only, like, out of the 80 years we live, we get like 13 to 15 of them as children. Like, just let them be kids. Like, stop pressing.
You say that, but there's a lot of adults, people in their 30s and 40s who have arrested development and still think that who know that they're
They
adults.
definitely have arrested development.
And they're just
They don't get it.
they're listening to all the young boy music, and they got the look of something's them on, and
Are
it's
you
like,
wearing girls' jeans right now, sir?
exactly. That's the fashion, apparently.
Oh, it's funny. I don't give too hard of a time, only because I had to look at it, right? And I was like, what is up with these skinny jeans? And then I realized, like, especially in, like, the hip hop and Black culture, like, they
Yeah.
really got into that whole, like, but I'm like, we have to understand that rap artists these days are rock stars now. Like, when we're like, I'm 34, right? So when I was growing up, I had both. I had rock and I had rap, and I got
Mhm,
to grow up in the 90s. Like, I'm an 80s baby, grew up in the 90s and the
mhm.
2000s. So I really got the transition of, like, technology where we were, like, still using like Yahoo chat. So I
Yes.
got to experience that, but we still went outside and got dirty and played, and we came in when the lights came on the street,
Uh-huh.
and I got to have both. So I feel like I was very well rounded in that sense. But like, I try not to give the rappers too hard of a thing because, man, Mick Jagger was wearing the same shit. You know, he was just wearing it. He was wearing little tiny. They are the rock stars now, so they live a rock star lifestyle. It's not any different. I think that we just give them a hard time because we just expect like this like hardcore gangster rap image from Black men that is really not. It's a thing that we gave them as a culture and not something that they really were. And I think like we put too much pressure on them to like have this image. And like, man, like whatever, they want to be rock stars, let them. They want to wear jewelry on their face. Like most of the rock stars were very feminine growing up. I mean, think about Prince.
The purple
wore
one.
Very feminine clothes. He wore makeup. It's like now we're like, oh, this guy's got a purse. I'm like, I'm pretty sure Prince had a few of them. Like, and my man was getting major pussy.
Rise in Paradise, the Prince, the purple one. Yes, I listen. I get your points. And they're very much valid. But here's a very large but I'll interject into this young lady.
Okay.
Rock stars and rap stars are two different people, aren't they? Right? The rap
but they're
culture.
Not. That's who they are now.
I understand the point in regards
rap
they have become.
are rock stars.
Yeah, no, they yes, most definitely. But the big difference is, the musical content which is being produced is still called rap. So we can't be rappers and rock stars at the same time, unless we're going to do an Ice-T and get the group body count going.
That we've put this stereotype on rappers that they didn't ask for. Now, are you a gangster rapper? Are you? Because there's different kinds of rap.
Oh, of course, yes. 100%.
Now, don't be no hardcore gangster rapper with your fucking tongue pierced and you're wearing like purple and pink hair, like a hardcore gangster, like this Tekashi shit. No, you're a pussy. Why the fuck do you have a rainbow in your head? Like, yes. You're supposed to be a gangster. I get it. Like, and I think it's like they're just trying to like be theatrical in a certain sense, so that way they can get the people to listen to their music. But it's all marketing, right? I understand it from a business perspective. The part that I don't get is, if you're really a gangster, you don't want to be seen. So why the fuck do you have rainbow hair? Where I grew up, I was the only white kid. I grew up in a very Black and Mexican, like, cultured area. I was not, like, we were the only white family in my whole neighborhood. So I get, like, gangsters don't want to be seen. That's why they wear big baggy clothes and hoodies, because they're trying to be sneaky. So for you to say that you a gangster and you wear rainbow hair does not settle well with me. I get that. I get what you're saying, friend. But these other rappers who are lifestyle rappers is what I like to call them. They rap about having a lot of money. They rap about fucking bitches. They rap about diamonds and no substance.
Yes.
So what do they want to do?
Oh, yeah. I like that.
They're not pussies anyways.
I like that. I like that analogy, and I like the way you brought that down. You're right. And to be fair, listen. To each their own. If you want to wear women's clothes, that's all cool. Personally,
Jagger was wearing his chick's fucking pants his whole life.
Exactly. You're not ever gonna see me in any kind of attire like that.
Yeah, they're just trying to show their bulge off, man. They know they don't got much dick, so they gotta put it on display.
Yeah, that's it. But you gotta think about if they want to have children after all that extra heat that they're producing down there. It's gonna reduce their fertility and their sperm counts.
Like, God, a lot of them have a lot of kids already. Oh my God.
Well, it's the season. Well, it's find them, fuck them, and flee. I think the term is, isn't it?
I'm sure, and I profit from that whole, I made a lot of money from that idea of life. That's fine. You can do that. Just pay me when you leave, Kim.
Pay like you weigh, as they say.
I'm a big girl. I'm a big girl, so.
Now, you said you are all au naturel.
My titties are fake. I'm not gonna lie about that. My titties are fake.
Okay. Now, outside of that enhancements, have you gone down the line of body sculpting and any of that stuff as well?
So the only other surgery I had, I had them take some fat out of like my back. Mm-hmm. So I kind of had those mom hips like I've always had a fat ass and big thighs. I had no hips. So I kind of had that like those hip dips that most like women have.
Okay.
So I had them take some fat and I had them fill in the hip dip like this much. So it was more of a curve
Curve.
than it was like those mom, like I had saddle bags. It was like no hip, saddle bag, and fat ass in the back. So I had them like kind of like make it more round. The crazy part is though, like a year later, it like wasn't even, it kind of went back. Like it's not even the same. Okay. I mean, it's still a little bit there, but it wasn't, it probably was a surgery. It wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
So I got my titties done and my hip dips filled. And those are the 2 surgeries I did. And I'm like, I'm done.
Was painful?
It doesn't feel good. I mean, it's, and it's so funny because I just had knee surgery.
Oh dear.
Yeah, bad. I tore my ACL, my meniscus, and my patella tendon.
What on earth are you doing? You fighting people or something, young lady?
I just think I kickboxed for a while. So I kickboxed and I played like girls football or American football in high school. I was a linebacker. So I blew my knee out the first time my senior year of high school. And then I found out that they had what we call lingerie football, which is like a girls football league.
I've seen it.
Yeah. They have a So I was going to try out for it. So I had started like training and working out. And I guess I just like overdid it that day. And I was coming down some stairs and I slipped down the stairs and my hands are full and I didn't catch myself. Like I slipped and my legs were like too tired. Like they got wobbly.
Damn.
And I fell down like two flights of stairs and like shredded my knee again about a year and a half ago.
Jeez.
So I finally got the surgery a month ago and they told me it was going to be about 8 months recovery. I'm already walking. So I just heal very fast. I'm like a Wolverine. I don't know why.
Well, I guess because of your diet as well, because you're particular with your diet and you're not eating the swine or red meat.
The swine, the dirty, dirty swine.
The swine.
Yeah, and I don't take a lot of medication. I think that helped too because they usually want to pump you full of like antibiotics and they try to they probably gave me like 50 Percocets and I took them for 4 days to deal with the initial pain and then I got off of it immediately.
Okay. Because I'm in England, I don't know nothing about that there. All right. So can you break that down?
So
Because I heard
Percocets are a heavy pain-killing narcotic.
Okay.
They may even be opiates. They're pretty fucking strong. And you know, a lot of people out here, they're like, I don't know if you guys are big on that over there, but over here, like, there's a lot of pill poppers.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've heard the people like rapping about that, like consuming that stuff.
God, and you know what's crazy is like I felt like a maniac after 4 days. I was like, holy shit. I was so emotional. Everything made me angry. I'm like, yo, I don't feel healthy. I'm getting off of these. Like, I'll just deal with the pain. And I got off of them pretty fast and I started my herbal remedies.
Good.
I just went back to like my massage therapy days. I did a lot of hydrotherapy and I didn't baby it. Like a lot of people were like, sit down, stop. I'm like, no, like I've been doing my knee for 15 years. I know like how far I can go. I didn't like let it stiffen up. I like pushed it to the point right before it was painful.
Yeah.
And I just did the therapy I was supposed to do. And I'm like a month in, I'm already walking. And people
CBD?
are like, CBD, hemp oil, icing. Like I do a lot of like ice, hot and cold therapy, tiger balm. I went like herbal with it. And I just smoked my weed. When I needed to go to sleep, I just smoked weed and went to sleep.
Okay.
But I don't smoke all day either. Like I'm a smoker, but I don't need to do it to function. To me, it's like, okay,
it's a reward.
I'm either gonna settle, right? It's a reward, exactly. And I'm really big on like stuff. I don't do drugs. I drink. Everything to me it's something fun I do. It's not something I need to do every day. And I think that's why my body's able to heal fast. I don't really drink anything but water and green tea, unless I'm going out, then I'll have a drink. I'm not gonna lie, I've been drunk. Like I do drink.
Yeah.
But I don't drink every day.
Do you wake and bake?
No.
You seems like a very responsible young lady, Rylee.
It's not responsible. I just don't feel like it. Like my body feels better when I don't. You know, I'm like, some people need it. Some people have anxiety. I don't. Some people, like my brother is a wake and bake kind of guy. He's like, if not, I'm gonna fucking lose my mind today. I need it. And I'm like, if that's what makes you settled, I'd rather you do that than be on fucking Xanax. You know what I mean? Like,
I've heard a lot of people say that smoking has really centered them and really got them out of being very erratic,
and
hot-tempered.
irrational.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yeah, and I think people don't realize that if you're going, I'm a big believer in whatever you do, you should do the research on it, right? People will just smoke weed because it's around. And they don't understand, like, there's different kinds of weed. There's serpentine, there's terpene, I'm probably saying it wrong. Levels of THC, there's different
OCD.
levels of, right. So it's like everyone's body is going to respond to those things differently. So you have to find out what's right for you. And most people will smoke weed and they just want to numb themselves. So they're smoking a very deep, high THC indica. And an indica is going to knock you the fuck out. And I don't want to feel like that. I want to be functional.
You want that sativa buzz, don't you?
Yeah, if I'm gonna sleep, I'll do a sativa hybrid with a little bit of indica to go to sleep. If I'm gonna go out and party so I don't have a hangover, I'm gonna hit my fucking sativa and I'm gonna have some drinks when I'm out and I'm gonna be fine when I wake up in the morning. But people are crazy. They just like, oh, let me get that kush. Let me get that OG. Like,
that granddaddy perp.
Yeah, you don't even know what you're smoking. Do you know what perp does to you? Like, you should know what you're putting in your body. And then you're wrapping it in like backwoods, which I don't know if you guys have backwoods up there. But
they're horrible. That's gator throat stuff, man.
I had to stop because I started to sound like a man. I stopped smoking hookah too because I'm like, yo, I use my voice for my living now. Yes. Like I can't. Not only was I using my voice for my living, I was using my throat to make money, and my throat was going. I'm like,
listen, you West Coast, you San Diego, West Coast, California eyes. What's with this backward stuff, man? I'm telling you, they don't even taste nice. It's swishers, man.
One, it doesn't taste nice. Two, it's full of chemicals. Three, it's tobacco.
Yeah.
Like, get it the fuck out of here. I don't know. I usually do like the vegan wraps if I have to, or I just smoke out of a pipe.
Okay.
I do a pipe.
Okay.
I want to taste the weed. I don't want to taste anything else.
Yes.
Fuck your backwood. And you go through it so much faster. When you roll blunts, you go through an eighth in like 2 or 3 bowls or 2 or 3 blunts. Like, oh, I'm cool. No thanks.
Easily. And depending on
that. I don't like to spend money. I have a lot of it for a reason.
If you're messing with what is it? Perfectos are the biggest Swisher Sweet ones, aren't they? Is it Perfectos?
Oh, yeah. They use Swisher Sweets out here.
Yeah.
They do a lot of what's the other ones that are nasty?
No, Swishers are alright, man. Swishers are alright.
I don't like Swishers either. I feel like they're burning my throat.
Yeah, well,
I'm not a blunt smoker.
Yeah.
I'd rather do papers. I'd rather do paper, like the vegan wraps, or like the hemp wraps. They have a lot of hemp wraps that are really nice out here. But California is like it for weed.
Oh yeah. Humboldt County and all those places.
It's a lifestyle out here.
Yes, definite. And you've got some good activists out there.
Mm-hmm. What's funny is I didn't start smoking weed so the first time I ever got high in life, I think it was 25. I did some edibles. Whoa. And I did the traditional. You don't understand what edibles are going to do to you until it's too late. And I fucking was eating these brownies, and I'm like, ugh, they're disgusting. And then I ate more because I'm like, nothing's working. 2 hours later, I was high out of my fucking mind, and I couldn't move. And I hated it. I was like, I don't want to not. I was like this. Like I could hear the clock. It's all tick, tick. And I'm like, what's going on? I hated it. It was the worst thing. So I didn't smoke again, or I didn't do anything again until I was like 20, when I got my titties done. And I was like, I didn't want to be on the narcotics. Mm-hmm. So I was like, well, I'll try this weed thing again. And then somebody gave me some sativa. They're like, hey, smoke this, you'll feel better. And I'm like, no, I don't want to feel like that. And I was good. I was like, oh, okay, there's levels to this shit. And then
There's
that's when
definitely levels, because you
yeah,
messed up, as you know, young lady. You cannot do edibles for your first try.
I haven't done any of them ever since. Never. I'll never do another one.
It's a different buzz, isn't it? Totally different
Completely.
buzz.
It's a body high.
Yeah.
It's a complete body high. I'm not with it. I can't do it. I'd rather just like smoke my little weed and go to sleep and I'm good, or turn up. But yeah, I can't do the body highs. I'm too much of an upper person. That's why I never tried cocaine, because I was afraid I was gonna like it. I like to be like, I need to move, I need to do stuff, I need to get things done. And like that body high that has you stuck. And I don't like not being in control of my body. So I was like, bro, I can't even try coke, because
And
I'll be a
also, what about the fact of snorting something up in your nose? I've just never been like, that has never
I have to
entertained.
take a nasal spray for my sinuses, and that burns like a bitch. So I can only imagine what cocaine would do. Like nothing. Because I have to take like a Flonase, and I'm like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that hurts because I get sinus problems.
So have you tried having local honey?
Yes, it's part of my diet actually. I do. That's why I said I do my green tea and honey. I do honey, lemon, and sometimes I'll put a little bit of lavender oil in it,
Okay.
like a little lavender extract, which is really good. But yes, I definitely have told people, and I tell other people about that. It's so funny because I'm like, you have to get your local honey for your allergens. The problem is that I travel from California to Nevada a lot, and it's high desert versus low desert.
Yeah.
And that the dryness is like constantly like I go back and forth weekly because I have physical therapy in California, and I do everything else out in Vegas.
So I take it it's not too much of a big drive then, is it? It's a quick
5 hours.
Oh, okay. So would you normally drive, or would you fly out there? Fly between?
And like I forgot to book a plane ticket this week. I was like, oh shit. I was like, what time's my flight? I'm looking and I'm like, oh, I don't have a flight. That makes sense. So I drove this time, but I just once you've driven it a few times, it's like whatever. Now it's like a fun, put your music on and just sing your life away. No one else is in the car with you. To eat my sunflower seeds and zone out. It's fun.
This is it. This is it. A one-person road trip with a few stops.
Yeah, and you know what the best part about it is? Nobody tells you what music to play.
Yes.
Like I play all the obnoxious music that I grew up to that nobody else wants to listen to.
So okay, let's get there. Let's get there then. So name me some of the artists and some of the tracks you were listening to growing up in the 90s.
So I have a very diverse type of music. I listen to everything from rock, rap, reggae, everything. So country. My mom was a very big into country and rock and roll. My dad was a very big reggae and like kind of 80s rock kind of guy, like different types of rock. I literally will listen to everything from the fucking B-52s to the freaking
the B-52s.
Like I'll listen to
I remember them.
It's bad. Like, and then I'll like turn around and put on like the baby, and then I'll turn around and put on some Afro beats. Like, I will listen to everything, and it irritates other people because people are stuck in genres. So like 1 minute I'll be like listening to like Shania Twain and Reba McEntire, and then my next song will be like Sizzla. Or
Sizzla Kalonji.
Yeah. And they're like, who are you? And I'm like, I love it all. I can't help it. People they can drive people crazy. And then I'll have like Katy Perry on next. Or then it'll be like Toby Keith. And then like it's like all over.
I've never heard of that person, sorry.
I will tell you this. My favorite, like growing up, the 3 albums that my dad gave me, the first like CDs he ever bought me, was Lauryn Hill.
Oh, the Miseducation.
Yes. Lauryn Hill, No Doubt.
Okay.
And the third one was LeAnn Rimes, which is a country artist.
I know
like
her,
Yeah, he was very big on like he wanted me to know different kinds of music.
Yes.
So my first 3, I remember getting them in my Christmas stockings. Those are my first 3 albums. LeAnn Rimes, No Doubt, and Lauryn Hill were my first 3 albums. And then I think like for my birthday, he got me like a Dixie Chicks album. And who was the other person that he had? I don't remember those, but it's just those 3 that I always remember like were the first ones I ever had.
Hmm.
Oh, and he got me Twista. Do you know who Twista is?
Of course, I know who Twisted is. Why you got that Adrenaline Rush album?
The Adrenaline Rush.
Oh my
I'm like,
days!
that's how crazy my dad was. Like, he was like, you gotta listen to it all. Like, he got me Twista
What?
and fucking
You
Dixie Chicks for my birthday.
your pops got you Twister from that Windy City of Shy. That is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. That is amazing.
I get
Clearly,
it. People are like, your music is too all over the place for me.
it's no this that it's good. It's good because myself, I like classical music, 90s R&B, Motown, and
Oh yeah,
clearly
I love anything from the 90s.
yes. Well,
90s to me
exactly.
was the best music.
Of course, you already know. Well, 90s. You also had the 80s, and you also had the 70s as well. So those 3 decades, very
I mean,
different.
those are good. Those are like, I don't know. I like the music, but I could listen to 90s all day and not turn it off.
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna send you a playlist and of each genre, of each decade, even, and you know,
Yeah,
we're gonna have a throwdown.
let's do it. You're gonna do a versus? Who's
Yeah, that's it.
It's not our music, but this is my favorite album versus your favorite album.
Yes. West Coast wise, since we're on the music.
West Coast growing up, I was into some underground rap back then. I was like, I grew up during the whole Bay Area movement. I grew up
Okay,
during the whole, like,
E40.
E40, Keep the Sneak, T Netty,
Oh my!
Louis
You're
Coleon,
not telling me all of these Sibo and
all of that, all
Mitchy
of it.
Slick, wrong
Yeah.
kind. Oh,
Oh, Mitchy Slick is from the same neighborhood that I'm from. That's where I grew up. The same neighborhood as Mitchy Slick.
okay.
And JL Felony and Mitchy were both. Those are the two dudes that are from my neighborhood.
J.O. Fella,
Yeah.
let me tell you.
How did the fish grease? That
Exactly. And don't forget that Sherm Stick song he made. You remember that?
Yes, I love it all. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, there's so much music. I can't even be like, oh, what's your favorite? Like, Busta growing up was dope. Missy Elliott was dope growing up. Like that. But then you can't like knock anything like R&B wise growing up. Like, 112 and Boys Men. Like,
Jagged
I love
Edge.
it. Jagged Edge. I love it.
Those were the good old days, wasn't they?
The golden days, man. Not the good old days, the golden days.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
The golden era.
I love it.
The golden era, most definitely.
It was the best generation. I told you, we were the best of both worlds. We were still kids that played outside, but we knew how to use computers. Now they're fried. They either, like, I feel like people before us just didn't get it, and people behind us, they just never will get it. Like, they'll never understand. They don't know what it's like to get dirty.
It's a lost generation. It's a lost. The art, as we mentioned earlier, the art of conversation is dead. It's all these, like,
Oh my gosh,
text talk.
or even writing a letter. Like, when's the last time you just wrote a letter to somebody?
Well, for my business, I have to do a lot of writing and that kind of stuff. So
no, you write emails.
Well, very true. Very true.
When's
Physically,
the last time you busted out a pen and paper and wrote someone a letter?
It's been years. Years.
Remember growing up, we had pen pals.
Yes.
Do you guys do that?
Yes, I had.
We had pen pals in like 3rd grade. We had another school that we would write letters to, and we would have like our pen pal that we would like have to sit down once a week and write a letter to our pen pal.
Interesting story. I had a pen pal. This was regimented by school, teenage times and very early teenage, and they were in different countries, so it was like a school exchange thing.
Yeah.
We only wrote each other one letter, and that was it.
Now people are sliding the DMs with dick pics. Like, it's not the same.
World gone crazy, man. World has done got crazy.
We got the pen pals.
Most definitely.
You got actually to think and compose.
Well, and you're putting yourself on paper. You're having to think about the words, how to spell the words, not autocorrects.
And I think what it did was it actually made you stop and think about what you were saying before you did it. Because, and it was funny, that same high school boyfriend, we would fight like that. Like, it would get to a point where we would get so frustrated. We were still learning how to, like, be mature. And I remember one time, I locked myself in the freaking bedroom. So I was like, I'm so tired of your shit. I locked myself in the bedroom. I just want to come out. He's like, will you please come out? And I'm like, no. He was really big on that. He was very big on like writing. So he got the notepad out and wrote everything down
Wow.
and slid it under the door. And we argued that. I still have it. I wish it's not at this house. It's in Las Vegas. I have a notepad where we would flip the page and we were arguing back and forth.
Wow.
And we were like, so that way we wouldn't yell and we would actually stop. And when you have to read it, you have to think about it.
Think
Like,
about it.
it's not only just like, sometimes when it's an instant message and a text, you're not even reading, you're already responding before you have to read and comprehend and make a decision about what you're going to say next.
Yes.
So we would literally write everything out and then just push it back under the door. We did it for like an hour.
And did your ex-boyfriend institute this, or was this something you came up with?
He started it.
Excellent. That is
He started it.
a real.
He was like, well, you don't want to come out. I'm going to fucking say what I need to say. And I'm going to write on this paper. And he slid it under the door.
Yeah. I've suggested that many
No,
times.
it was good. It was a good little. Also, because you're trying, I think because you actually have to stop and like it's been so long since we've had to be articulate, like it makes us be like we don't want to sound stupid. So we also stop and be like, okay, let me rewrite this because that sounds stupid. You know what I mean? Like,
did I really write that?
Yeah, you're like, oh, did I say that? I can't believe is this how I was talking? It makes you stop and think.
Definitely.
It was a good argument. If I ever have to be someone's therapist, I always tell them, write it down on paper.
Words to live by. Words to live by, because you have to take ownership of it. I've really enjoyed the conversation. I think we're definitely gonna have to do a part 2 with this, most definitely.
For sure. We're gonna get you on next time. We're gonna get you on my show. And then you can talk more, because I know I've definitely talked a lot more than
No. Well, no, it's about you. As I say, this is all. Definitely. 2 things before we wrap this. Well, 3 things before we wrap this up.
Okay.
This global pandemic, or planned-demic, depending on how you look at it.
Definitely planned.
How has this affected you, if or at all, and what are your thoughts on it?
Okay. Personally, it actually did a lot of cleaning up for me. And I actually just talked to one of my really good friends, Chris, this morning about that. And I said, coronavirus was more than just killing people. It was weeding out my personal trash. So I realized people who weren't going to be there for me definitely showed their ass during the pandemic. Like, people that I needed to be there for me, that I thought would be there for me, that I had been for, started realizing like when shit hit the fan, they weren't going to be there for me like I thought they were. So it actually cleared a lot of drama out of my life, which was nice. I won during the pandemic. I've won all the way around. I've actually made probably more money than I've ever had. So I feel really bad for the rest of the world, but I'm winning. The way I make money now is through web. Yeah. And that's the only source of socializing that people have now. And now that people can't go outside and buy pussy, they go on OnlyFans and buy videos. So I'm making a shit ton of money. I'm actually doing really, really well. And I've actually was on the wave before everyone else was. Like, I've been on OnlyFans and I was doing really, really good before, but I'm really doing well now. So it's actually been great. As far as my ideas on it, I think it's completely over fabricated, and I definitely believe that it was just a way to show us that they can control us, and they're going to continue to do it. Yep. I think it's real ironic that the one thing that we're doing is like going backwards as far as having to keep, as women, men and women, keeping our face covered. It's just symbol. There's like a symbolism in the fact that we're only allowed to show our eyes right now. The fact that anyone even thinks that that fucking mask is actually protecting us or anybody else is absolutely retarded. But it's just this sense of control, like your face and your nose is covered. It's very symbolic to me. I think if people really did the research and they understood that the regular flu kills more people than coronavirus does, that I'm sorry that someone had to lock you in the house to tell you to wash your fucking hands. Yep. But to me, I think it's just something else is going to show its ass soon, and we're going to realize that this was all a cover up for something else. and I'm just waiting for it to happen.
Yes.
It's also another way to make the rich richer and the poor poorer. They're separating the classes right now.
Yeah.
And the people who are going to make it are going to make it, and the people who are just holding on are going to become more dependent on the economy or on the government. And that's what they want. They want to make people more dependent, because when people are dependent on the government, then they are completely at their control.
That's it.
So I think they're dividing the classes, and they're dividing the races is even more too, because just when things were never good. Well, they were never great, but they were definitely civil for a long time. I know sometimes in the rest of the world, people think they're always flooding the media like America's this like crazy like riot all the time.
Yes, it is. Yes.
I even had a friend who lived here and moved to Japan and was afraid to come back. He's like, it's just so crazy. And I'm like, it really didn't get crazy until this past year. Yes, there was some crazy shit going on, and it's definitely injustice. We definitely in America have a double justice system. Black people are not treated well. And the racial issues, in my opinion, are pushed out into the media because they don't want us to get along.
Exactly.
Because when we get along and the racial issue is no longer an issue, then we can do nothing but focus on what the fuck they're doing. And they can't control us anymore.
Yes, the big picture.
The big picture. So they keep causing turmoil and havoc and chaos in our lives because of that. Same reason why they were literally sending people out to start riots who weren't even black.
Yes.
So if you can't see
Antifa.
that you're feeding into it, it's retarded to me. But I'm definitely a big believer in like reform over like re-education over reincarceration. And people don't realize that, I don't know if it's anywhere else in the world, but in America, our modern day slavery is our justice system.
Yeah.
And they keep black people in prison because they can keep them in control. And if they can continue to remove the male out of the household, and there's only one parent who is dependent on the government, you are making another generation of people who are completely dependent on the government, and now they control you again. They don't realize, like, it's just this cycle, right? And we just keep feeding into it. It's bigger than just police brutality.
Yes.
The police do stupid shit, and until it's not going to change until people like me and people, the middle class is like, it's not my fault. What do? I don't want to get involved. We fucking have to.
Exactly.
Because it's not going to change until white people say enough is enough. And I know it sucks and it's sad to say that black people's voice doesn't carry, but it doesn't in our country. And until we stand up with our brothers and sisters, it will not fucking change. And that pandemic is happening because we are only allowed to sit at home and watch horrible fucking images all day of crazy shit.
Yeah.
It's all been just playing into each other.
Yes.
When we cut, we bleed. When we're sad, we cry. And we're all human. And I don't believe in fucking color. And I think until we realize how much more similarities we have than differences, we're not going to get it right. And police in general need to be in control. They need to be controlled. So whether or not they're beating 1,000 white people or 1,000 black people, they shouldn't be beating anybody.
Exactly.
So let's
it's
stop
simple.
making it a white or black issue. Let's make it police are fucking out of control. And we're all losing our minds inside of our fucking house. It actually got to a point here in San Diego that they were trying to shut down the restaurants again. And finally the restaurants are like, no.
Goods.
Until someone says no, they're going to keep doing it. So we can't, we have to like let go of these generational curses and these racial tension. And we have to stop pointing at each other about things that have happened in the past. Yes, we did some stupid shit. Yes, but now it's time to move forward, and we need to fucking hold hands and go against the people that are really against us. It's a class war. It's not a racial war. And until people wake up, they're not going to realize that.
Actually, you're dropping so much quality information, factual information. They're doing their darndest to create every form of division you can think of: race, gender, color.
little nasty horror stories about my sex life, but
No, you see, we do things a little different. We may touch that maybe on the part 2, but as I say, I've
I'll
been.
tell the nitty-gritty stories if we ever get on there again.
Yeah, exactly.
There's just so many other things that are so important right now.
Well, exactly, and I have been more than pleasantly surprised with the level of awareness that you have, and the experiences that you've gone through. It's been a very, very interesting conversation. My very last question for you. I know your name, so please tell me who you are without your name.
Oh God, that's a hard question.
Yeah, so who are you, but don't tell me your name.
You're gonna make me think.
Yeah.
Who am I without saying my name? I don't even know. How do you even answer that?
I'll give you.
I'm so bad at things that it points to me, as you can see.
Well, I'll give you a clue. I'll give you some clues.
Are you gonna help me?
Yeah, I'll help you most definitely. I'll help you most definitely. Give me some attributes that are in line with your.
I feel like I'm in like a job interview now. What are your colors and your strengths? What do you bring to this company? I would say that I'm a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a safe place for judgment free. And I'm a sister, I'm a woman,
There we go.
Somebody's daughter.
It's flowing. Come on, let it go out.
Remember that I'm someone's sister, and I'm someone's sister beyond blood. Like, I really believe like I am a sister of the earth. And so I'll go into this because you asked me about my ankh earlier.
Yes.
So my ankh, I'm spiritual. I'm not religious. I'm definitely a big believer in energy. I think that whatever you put out, you get back. And I do believe in a higher power, but my higher power is much different than this being of God. Mm-hmm. Like, people kind of make God like this humanly person, but it's not to me. So I am a goddess on earth, and I believe that I was actually a youth minister growing up, so believe it or not, if you believe that you are made in the creation of God and in His image, then that would make you a god on earth.
Yes.
So I wear the ankh because the only people that wore ankhs in Egyptian times were pharaohs, and they were the closest thing to God, and they wore the key that unlocked like the heavens. This was like life itself. Mm-hmm. And it unlocked like heaven to earth, and it was the portal which brought them here. So if I have this ankh, then it means that I am a goddess, and that all things are possible to me if I want them. And so as long as I have the ankh, or that I believe in the ankh, then I believe that life itself is what I make it, and that I can have whatever I want if I want it. And that's why I wear it, and that's who I am.
Definitely said. Some people really get thrown with that question, but you got into it.
I don't know where to start. It's like, where do you start with that? It's like a question.
It is. It really gets you to think, like, who am I? How would someone else describe me? Who am I?
I'm all of the things. I'm everything. I'm everything. Because if I am, then if I were the ankh and wasn't everything, then it would be in vain. Like, the ankh is everything. It's life itself. It's energy. It's love. It's sisterhood. It's motherhood. I'm not physically a mother, but I definitely mentored people that needed mothers. I have raised kids that weren't my own. Like, I'm all of the above. Like, I'm everything.
It's also, are you aware that it's also represents the ovary, well, the womb? Is it ovary? Yeah, the vagina and the penis.
Which is life.
Exactly.
I got one time, and I'm going back to stories. I got someone made me like this custom ankh, like piece, and somebody got mad at me because what people think they don't know what an ankh really is. And someone's like, oh, it's the black cross. I'm like, no, it's not. It's an Egyptian cross, and it means life and fertility and all these things. But
Yes.
somebody got mad at me because I was dancing kind of provocatively with this outfit on. And I'm like, if you believe that it's the womb and you believe that it's life, sexuality is that life. Like, how do you expect procreation to happen without sex? Like, so if you're mad that I'm dancing provocatively in a sexual way, then you really don't believe in the true nature of the symbol. Because the symbol itself is sexual. Like, if you don't, because people put deviance on sexuality, and it's not. Sexuality is life, and it should be a sexual freedom. And sexual freedom only helps procreate, which is the only reason we're fucking here in the first place. So maybe you should study more if you have a problem with me wearing an ankh. It's like, you're right, you can't wear an ankh. I'm like, whatever, fuck you. You don't know the real meaning. But
some people, you know, you've got to do your due diligence. Some people know surface levels of information, so you know, and at certain times, you're not going to get that information, or it's not there for you. It's not readily available. It might be 2 years down the line that you might come across this information again. And it's like, oh wow! So when I was saying that to that young lady before, I was totally wrong because, you know, there's more meanings to this. Life is a lesson.
I just want to be so eternal in somebody's brain that they think about it for the rest of their life. Like, I love the idea that in 10 years you're going to think about me.
Everything that you're doing, this conversation.
Hold on, let me ignore this. Can you hear it?
Yeah, I can actually. It's funky.
Sorry.
All good. So it has been wonder-filled, with that slight interruption, wonder-filled conversation. How can everybody, all of the listeners, get in contact with you? What's your social medias and stuff?
So my social media, my main thing I do is Instagram. So my Instagram is Rylee, RYLEE _rabbit. And then I also have another Instagram page, which was deleted for a while, but I just got it back. And that's Miss Rylee Raye, MS.RYLEE RAYE. Those are my Instagrams. I'm on Twitter. That's Miss Rylee Rabbit. I have my OnlyFans. So if you want to do more than just listen to me, my onlyfans.com/Rylee Rabbit. And then my podcast page is at downtherabbithole.tv, and you can find that on YouTube, podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Play, and Podbean. YouTube is the visual, the rest is all audio. So you guys can find my Down the Rabbit Hole. Have a lot of fun stuff on there too. I have other girls who have been in the adult industry. I've had some athletes on there. I'm always open to new conversations and new topics, so feel free to comment and let me know if you guys want to hear me talk about something or have somebody on the show. But that's pretty much most of my information. So
wonderful. And I shall include all of the links below as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I actually had a blast today. I liked the depth of conversation, and I appreciate it because it's nice to have the conversation sometimes.
Oh, definitely. And as you try and do with your platform is to open up the conversation to the wider conversation in regards to, you know, sex and the adult industry and other topics as well. I like to put a human face onto artists, on adult entertainers, former adult entertainers, and just humanize people really, and get you know, really have that conversation.
A fan of it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I had a good time.
Definitely. It has been a pleasure.